This episode of Man of Prestige telling you not to even do it. Yeah, but they've had some experience and they shouldn't, it's okay that they tell us what to avoid. No, it's not okay, because in life, right, as human beings, not as animals, not as things, right, we pursue achievement with a probability, not probability, with possibility mindset. We don't look at statistics to say, hey, this number are terrible. This number say we're all gonna end up in jail or die. So I might as well just go after going to jail or die. That's not how you operate, right? You operate off of possibility. I can get out of the hood. I can do some great things, right? That's because we're humans. We have emotions and we have the power to choose. Outside of the fact that life is not fair, because even after you do that, you can't really be entitled. Sometimes life is unfortunate. But in spite of that, it's absolutely not. Dating in your 40s as a man. Dating in your 40s as a man. This shit makes it hard as hell, right? Yeah. But let's talk about it really quickly. If you're in your 40s and you're trying to date, believe it or not, I was almost 40 and I did a little of a dating. I did date a little bit because my wife at one point said she was done. And I said, fuck it, I'm done too, right? And the truth is that the way I engaged it, this is some of the things that was some of the things that brought me into the world of the men community on YouTube. Started to do some research. I'm just lucky because I didn't enter the crazy ass rage that a lot of people are in. But I get it. The rage is a little bit more entertaining, but that's not what we're here. We're trying to grow, right? So, but yeah, if you're in your 40s and you're dating, there are a couple of things I want us to consider, right? There are three things precisely that I want us to consider because you fall in three categories, okay? And I think it's very important that we separate them because they make a lot of difference, okay? Lots of difference, okay? Excuse me. I learned that I need to drink water while I'm doing this, so you can keep things flowing a little bit. All right, so there are three categories that you fall in. I want you to consider if you're dating in your 40s as a man. And dating in your 40s as a man, some people like to cap heavy, but in that same breath, they're complaining heavily about the kind of modern women that we have out here today. You see, let me tell you something right now. The modern women thing is real. There's a lot of them out there, and I think it came from a place of trauma. This is the part where you get to call me a simp and say I'm giving excuses for them. Then I say fuck you too. This is just my opinion. But I know you don't think that way. You get what I'm saying, right? But anyway. There are three categories. The first one is you've never been engaged or married in your 40. This shit is hard for you. I know this shit is hard for you. And I can't even imagine what you're going through because I got married when I was 27 and I would do the same thing all over again. There's a lot of people teaching, yeah, you don't have to date until you're 35, until you're 45, until you're 75, you don't have to marry. You never have to marry. Well, it's bullshit. If you have to say that out loud, you actually want to marry and you're full of shit. Okay? There are people absolutely that don't want to marry. They're usually not loud about it. Usually they're not. Okay? They're usually not in the comments on YouTube talking about how much they don't want to marry. They're usually not the people who created the whole YouTube channel to talk about how they don't want to be married, right? Now, some people may mean it because they've gone through some terrible experiences and they've given up. So they failed at long-term relationship. So they justify that shit by telling you not to even do it. Yeah, but they've had some experience and they shouldn't, it's okay that they tell us what to avoid. No, it's not okay because in life, right, as human beings, not as animals, not as things, right, we pursue achievement with a probability, not probability, with possibility mindset. We don't look at statistics to say, hey, This number are terrible. This number say we're all gonna end up in jail or die. So I might as well just go after going to jail or die. That's not how you operate, right? You operate off of possibility. I can get out of the hood. I can do some great things, right? That's because we're humans. We have emotions and we have the power to choose. Outside of the fact that life is not fair, because even after you do that, you can't really be entitled. Sometimes life is unfortunate. But in spite of that, it's absolutely natural that we'll go after possibilities and not probabilities. So it's cap when you hear people say, oh yeah, probability. They usually use it to attack the women, of course. Probability versus positive is bullshit. Okay? So now let's talk about probability. If you're not married at the age of 40 and you're still trying to date, you need to see therapy. There's some things you need to unpack. There is a reason for it. That's a reason for it, and we cannot be in denial about that. That reason is not necessarily your fault. It's not a crime. It's just something you need to know so you can see if you can mitigate that, because you know you don't want to be in that position, right? All right. The second group of people is broken engagement. You actually were engaged to a person for 2-3 years and it didn't work out. You failed at that too, sadly, right? I'm not shaming you. It's just what it is, right? You failed at something. You also need to see a therapy and find out what went wrong. Because if you don't, you'll be projecting what failed on the next relationships that you get into. You'll be projecting, especially if you're in this space and you're listening to a lot of bullshit gurus with nonsense, right? You're going to be projecting everyone's pain. All these people who are in some kind of pain or the other, or they've gone through it, right? You're going to be projecting on every girl you meet. You won't even recognize a feminine woman when you meet one. You'll be busy projecting your negativity on everything. Or you won't have enough patience to find out if somebody is feminine or not. Why should you have patience to find out? Because everybody has trauma. Imagine a girl watching the rhetorics on YouTube. She will have her guards up. The masculine will come out. So you have to be patient enough to say, make her feel comfortable and safe. And then the feminine comes right out. Because it was always there. But everyone needs to protect themselves if they don't feel safe and secured, including the ladies. That's what you guys call, that's what a lot of people called, that's what they call masculine. Somebody's masculine. The person is protecting themselves. There's no crime in that. It is what it is, right? The last category of people is you're divorced. If you're divorced, you also failed. I was almost in that position, but I figured something out. And so somebody says, oh, you figured something out, hopefully. Fuck you. I'm saying ahead of you, right? Because let's think about it. We all have that mouth, right? But the truth is that some of us have decided that there's greatness in all of us, including you. There's greatness in every single one of us, and you can tap into it by not projecting so much negativity. Understanding that we're humans, we tend to project our negative experience on the future. You have to do a lot of work to mitigate against that. So divorced, you almost fall in the same category of broken engagement. You have to see a therapy before you move forward. Okay? Because the divorce rate for second, third marriages is 75%. That's not because anyone was committing crime. It's because humans are evolving and there's something you need to learn about the odds against you, and you can't afford to keep pointing fingers. You cannot afford to keep pointing fingers at anything other than, honestly, you can't even afford to point finger at self, because self-blame, which is guilt, works as just as bad. You need to see things as what they are. It's a game. You need to learn the game. It's a skill set. That's how you want to see things, and not see things from somebody's out to get you. They're just evil. They just want to get you, right? If you see things like that, you attract more of that.